episode of the Fashion Grunge podcast, I guess quarantine edition. Today, Jai is with me.
Hello.
So, yeah, we're going to talk about Dazed and Confused today, the film from '93 by Richard Linklater. But I guess first, let's talk about, well, this is how we're going to be recording, I guess, for a while, because we're all under quarantine, I guess, because there's a coronavirus. This is going to be weird to listen to, I guess, months from now, but for now, we'll be topical. And yeah, how are you holding up, Jai?
I'm doing well. I'm like trying to keep occupied, and I'm doing lots of artsy stuff. So I'm drawing and I'm doing collage on like kind of like Photoshop and mixing it up. Next week I'm going to be making things, probably sewing or making something like customizing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I feel like I have a lot of things. In fact, I have way too many things that I don't even think I have enough time to do them all, which is crazy.
Wow, that's insane. I feel like only you would have a list of things that you couldn't possibly finish during the quarantine. That just sounds like totally you. I feel like I just have a lot of movies and books and like a lot of old fashion magazines to look through and everything, but I don't have anything. Yeah, I don't have anything crazy. I mean, I'm not doing anything crazy planned, but there are a lot of films I'm actually kind of viewing as my homework because I just realized a lot of films that I haven't seen that are literal classics, like Chinatown. I've never seen with like
so good.
Yeah, right? Yeah, so see, there's a lot of films like that are classics that I feel like as a film fan, I probably should be, and I would love to make a film one day, so I feel like I should be kind of looking at, you know, old cinema, foreign cinema, like that kind of thing, so.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is a really good time to, I mean, for everyone, right? We've been forced to make time for ourselves, and we don't really have distractions like going out or, I mean, meeting up with people, going out in general. But I feel like it's not cool, obviously. I wish we didn't have a pandemic, but it's cool that we've been forced to make time for ourselves and do stuff that we maybe postponed or kind of never make time for. I really love planning, so I've got like a full calendar like right now with like activities. I had like a beauty day, which is today, catching up with friends, doing like virtual pub kind of dates and drinking wine and eating crisps while like video calling my friends. And I even had like a bit of a dance with my friend. We played our favorite song. I highly recommend this. And someone should
my gosh. That's fun.
Create some kind of app where you can, I mean, I'm sure you can do that with what we got, but where you can just like be with 5 friends at a time and you play your favorite songs and you dance. It's really fun.
Can't you do that on like Instagram Live? Can't you add like a lot of people?
But you can't see them, can't you? You can add them, but you can't see everyone.
Yeah,
they can see you.
Can you? Because if you add people into your live, I think you all kind of see each other's screens because it's almost like you're doing a FaceTime that everybody can see. I think that's kind of how Instagram Live works if you add more than one person, but I don't know how many. I know you can add like maybe 2 or 1, but that's cool. So yeah, I guess I'd love to know how people are. I guess I just look at people's Insta stories to see how they're spending this time. And if you are outside and you don't need to be outside, like what the hell are you doing? Like get inside. I don't know.
Right.
It's just
I mean, as long as you don't go too far. Sorry.
Yeah, well, I mean people partying, that apparently the beaches are still kind of packed and some people kind of like don't believe that this is happening, which is kind of crazy, but I mean, okay.
Like, oh my God.
Yeah, it's kind of nuts. Like the spring breakers and stuff, so hopefully they've like figured out that this is not a joke, but in any case, yeah, let's talk about the movie. So we're talking about Dazed and Confused. Yeah, I'm so excited because this is literally one of my favorite films, and I feel like anytime I post a photo of this on Instagram, people are like really excited about it.
It's a cool film. I mean, we'll get to it, but
what are your overall thoughts? Yeah.
So
like, let's start from the beginning. What's your intro thoughts on it? Like, when did you first see it? Like, stuff like that.
I watched it like probably when I was 16 or 15. I really can't remember. I watched a lot of films back then, and then more so after, like, I don't know, when I turned 17, because I had insomnia. So I watched like so many movies every night. And
that's so crazy.
I think I definitely remember being like 15 when I watched it. I don't remember what I thought, to be honest, because I only ever watched it once, that one time, and then I rewatched it this morning. Yeah. So I actually tried.
Oh, so you had only seen it one time since watching it as a kid. Oh, wow. Okay. I didn't know that.
Because I actually tried to watch it on a plane to Hawaii in December, but I just couldn't get into it. I was like, I think I was tired, so I probably ended up falling asleep. But I've only watched it twice. Obviously, most recently this morning at 8 a.m. So I feel like obviously it's about high school, and we've seen so many movies about being in high school, but this must have been one of the earlier ones, right? Well, I
think so. I mean, not really, because this is the 90s, so we could go into the 80s and the whole John Hughes era, which was before that. So we have seen young kids in high school, but this is kind of cool because it's like in the 90s, but it's set in the 70s.
Yeah, but I feel like the ones obviously Carrie, the horror film, that was 70s. Yeah. And then there are loads of movies in the 80s, like that film, something in pink, like Girl in Pink.
Pretty in Pink.
Pretty in Pink. All of those. But I feel like they were kind of like good kids compared to the whole vibe about this one, because these are like, like teenagers in the 70s, where it's like rock and roll and like drugs and a lot of like crazy behavior. So I suppose it's kind of like the first one in that sort of aspect. I
think so, that I can think of. I'm sure there's someone's going to be like, no, there's this, but that I know of, Yeah,
I mean, I feel like even though there's not like a proper plot, it's mostly about the music and like the era, and just like everything that was going, well, not everything, but just like the fashion and like, it's just a cool movie, mainly because of those reasons, I suppose.
Yeah. Cool.
What do you think?
That's what I have. Okay, so for my notes, the first time I saw it, I was probably 14 or 15. And I immediately loved it, and I bought it on VHS tape. And it's probably one of the 5 films that I know completely by heart, backwards and forwards. Like, I wouldn't even have to look at the movie. I would know exactly from hearing it what's going on. So I'm fully obsessed with this movie. I was telling Jai earlier that when I was 16, Clueless, Dazed and Confused, and Kids were probably like the movies that we've all reviewed. This is great. The first 3 movies that we've reviewed are like my favorite films. The next one would be Empire Records. That would be like number 4. But yeah, so I have a huge connection to this film. I love the music a lot. I think when I saw it, I didn't really know that much about classic rock when I saw it. So I think it like kind of opened this whole new world of the other genre of music that was like 20 years before me. So it's kind of cool, like how a lot of young kids now are finding 90s music. It's kind of like that. I was like, whoa, this is so cool. It's like all psychedelic. I got like the Peter Frampton Comes Alive album, and like there's 2 songs from Peter Frampton in the movie, and I was like, this is so cool. And I played it all the time. Even in school, I had like a Discman, and those were like 2 CDs that I had. That soundtrack. So that was cool. Watching it back, like the clothes were awesome. Like I had bell bottoms and stuff because the 70s had like a mini kind of moment in the 90s, like in the like mid 90s. It was like bell bottoms and like baby shirts and those like peace signs and like stuff like that. So I had like some clothes like the girls in the movie, and I was kind of like, I'd seen the movie and I was like, oh, this is so cool. So I had some of that stuff. Like I smoked weed, like not like they did, but you know, like I tried it and like done it a few times. I was like, this is so cool. And then, but now watching it back, the only thing that I kind of see, it's not a problem just because it's just done from a certain perspective, but I feel like the film is very much like a male testosterone thing, because like there are only a few scenes with the girls. Granted, they are really good scenes, but you can tell like a guy wrote this film and like directed it, because it's a lot of like, you can tell it's him. Like, and I've read interviews with Richard Linklater, like all these people are based on people in like his high school or people that he knew, because he's from Texas.
Makes sense.
So so you can kind of tell that like he's kind of mimicking his own like high school experience to somewhat a reason, but I like how it has this kind of like voyeuristic view into like their whole lives, and it's extremely simple, but it's like there are lots of different cliques existing together, and like it's I like how it's all kind of communal, but you can tell there's still a hierarchy like within the freshmen and like, you know, like in normal high schools and stuff. So I love it. It's just such a good feel-good film. I just always like feel really good after I watch it. You know, it's cool.
Yeah, I mean, I think like obviously like my favorite thing about it is that decade is like 70s, right? It's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
And that music is like that kind of the earliest music I got into because of my father. So he was like a bit of a hippie, so that's all the music that I knew from like a really young age, like classic rock,
that's so cool.
Like Alice Cooper and Black Sabbath and like Aerosmith and like what are they called? Rolling Stones too, but so that's kind of like when I knew, like if people ask me what's your favorite music and I was 11, I'll be like rock, like classic rock, like
cool
psychedelic rock and all of that. So I suppose it makes it really special for me in that sense. And I love the cars. I'm obsessed with those cars. Those are my favorite cars ever. Like Mustangs and like Chargers and the colors as well. But there's one thing that I guess I probably didn't think much of it when I first watched it because it was like different times. But it's awful, all the bullying and the violence towards the freshmen. I can't get over that. Like, I feel like it's so
how
weird.
How they, like, actually beat them with those powers?
Yeah. Like, I think it's so cruel and violent. Like, now, obviously, just watched this morning again, and I was like, I totally don't remember that part. And I think that it's just so, like, old school. Like, people actually used to do that. You used to get beat up.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I'm sure it was different in the US, and like I feel like it was exactly like in the film, but I'm not sure it was like that in Europe. Definitely not, or in other places. But just like bullying, you know, like. But
it's pretty intense, yeah. The bullying factor is pretty intense, yeah. With those young kids.
Yeah, like that's and I remember thinking, I suppose, like back then in the 90s, that was like a real thing. Being really mean to younger kids in school.
Mhm.
I mean, I remember.
I didn't think that anything about it. I've actually never even thought about it. Like until you brought it up right now, I actually haven't even thought about it because that was pretty normal. I just feel like it's within the last 10 years that like extreme bullying is becoming like there's more attention to it. But it definitely existed. And it's that bad that I didn't even think about it until you just said it.
Yeah, for me, it really stood out. I was like, oh shit, this used to happen. Like, especially back then. Didn't happen to me, like, not like that. Anyway.
No, I've never had that type of experience. No, I've never had that type of experience, but I have another note that I went into my emails because I was like, did I actually go to that, or was that like a really vivid dream? I went to a screening for the 20th anniversary in 2013 in LA of Dazed and Confused, and Adam Goldberg hosted it, who's actually in the film.
Oh, wow.
He's also
yeah.
like a really great actor. I love Adam Goldberg. But, and he was in it, and he was talking about when they cast them. This is like kind of like a production note, like anecdote, I guess. Like when they cast them, Richard Linklater had all of them like going out for pizza and like drinking. So they all kind of became this like party, like they almost had like a frat house kind of thing.
That's
because
cool.
like because they kind of like, he wanted them to all be kind of close and like friends, you know, to like film this. So he said it was really fun after that. And then I love Richard Linklater, the director. He was 33 apparently when this came out. So he's pretty young. He's probably like early 30s, I guess, when he made it. He has, almost all of his films are centered around Texas, because he's from Texas. So like this is supposed to be, I believe, in Austin. And then like, what do you call it? The one, except for Before Sunrise, Sunset, and Midnight, which I love. Like those three he did, those obviously aren't set in Texas, but Boyhood is, Slacker. Yeah, so he has a lot of things that are Texas centered. Ethan Hawke is also from Texas, so he works with him, too, a lot. So they have like that kind of thing in common. There is a film that came out in 2016 that I don't know if many people saw, but I saw. It's called Everybody Wants Some. Okay.
Hey.
So we were talking about Everybody Wants Some, and that is a movie that came out in 2016 that is considered, like, I think Richard Linklater called it a spiritual sequel to Dazed and Confused, and it literally is almost the same kind of story, but it takes place in 1980 in Texas. So it's just like a little bit different, but it is like they're college kids instead of high school. And it's just like kind of a romp raucous. If you like this movie, you'll probably like it too. I thought it was great. I don't know where, it's probably available somewhere. It was bouncing around on some streaming place, but it's really, really good.
Oh, cool. I haven't seen that. I've only seen Boyhood and Before Midnight, and I love both. I love Boyhood. It's such a good film.
Yeah, it's really cool. Yeah, I'm excited. Have you seen all of the Before series, like all three of them?
What do you mean? What three?
Before Sunrise, Before Sunset, and Before Midnight?
Yes, but I think Before Midnight is my favorite.
Oh, okay. Cool. Before Sunrise is my favorite. The first one.
The first one. Yeah, the first one is good. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I love the first one. And I looked up some production notes on the actual filming. Apparently the guy who plays Pickford, who's the one that's with Mia Jovovich, like in the film, he was supposed to be a bigger role in the film, actually. And apparently he couldn't get along with a lot of the actors on set, so they actually cut his part down and made it a lot smaller. Mia Jovovich was also supposed to be like a larger part, but because they cut their scenes down, it didn't work as well. And he was supposed to be playing with McConaughey, and like he couldn't get along with anyone. And McConaughey's role got extremely he got a lot of screen time, and most of it was ad-libbed. McConaughey.
Oh wow!
So so that was like kind of interesting.
Yeah, because I feel that that guy barely said anything or did anything, and so Mila, she was like, I think she didn't say much at all. She had like a tiny part, and she was really young as well. She was 16.
She married the guy who played Pickford, like while they were filming, and then they had to. Oh, that's right. Yeah, then they had to get it annulled or something because she was like underage, like she was like 16 or something.
That's crazy.
I think it was like this whole kind of like weird thing, but it's kind of crazy. But yeah, I'm actually gonna look it up. I'm that guy. I don't even know if they were actually it might have just never really been considered married. They might have been married for a second. Who knows?
I think that guy didn't do much, actually. I think he did a few films. That's it. He was cute, but maybe he wasn't a good actor.
Yeah, it seems like if there was behavior things, I guess people were just probably well, whatever. Maybe he didn't want to do it anymore. But, yeah, let's talk about the theme and the mood. I know you're going to be so excited about this because it's 70s and you love the 70s stuff.
I love 60s and 70s, yes. Like, I really should have been around that time, but hey, yeah. I'm here.
I know, it's so funny. Well, what did you think?
Okay, about the mood or the theme?
Yeah, just like the whole vibe. Yeah, like the whole theme and mood of the film.
I honestly thought they really it was like spot on. I feel like the fashion and like obviously the costume design, like I feel like they did a pretty good job creating like that kind of vibe. I'm sure they had like parties like out in the woods as well because you know you couldn't really have like a massive party at your home with your parents. Yeah, I mean I really just love that. I think that's what makes the film, to be honest. Like the set, the acting. Obviously my favorite would be like Matthew McConaughey. He's just like so good and he's so hot.
Even his like weird hair. He has like the weirdest hair in this movie.
He has such a cool haircut. That's literally like it's part of the whole look. I feel like his styling is the best in the entire movie, honestly. Like what he's wearing and the hairstyle and the attitude. Like, okay, yeah. So I feel like if I tell you my favorite scene, or you want to go first?
Oh, okay. You want me to? Oh, wait. You want to talk about?
Actually, no. You talk about the mood first, and then we talk about the scene.
Okay.
Yeah.
My whole thing with the mood is that I said that like the whole film just perfectly captures like that last day of school energy, where you like aren't doing anything, like when they're in class in the beginning and the teacher's just talking and they're just like whatever, like you're just waiting for the bell to ring. And then you just get out and everyone throws stuff everywhere. And then it just kind of reminds you of those big, like, teenage decisions in films that, like, they feel like will really define their lives, like whether or not Pink's going to play football. Like, that's, like, the whole underlying moment of the film that's like, oh, my gosh, is he going to do it? It doesn't really matter. But obviously to him it really matters because he's, like, this teenage boy, and that's, like, the most important thing in his life is playing football at his school. And, you know, to all his friends and everything. And I love the cars. I feel like the cars are just a character on their own. They all fit everyone's personality so well. Like the girl, Jody, who has the white bug convertible. Totally fits her. That's just so her. I feel like I could never see her driving another car. And then the El Camino that Pink drives. And, like, the Chevelle that McConaughey has. And, like, that, I think it's like a GTO, like Firebird that Pickford has, the orange car.
So cool.
That car's so dope. And, I love the cars. My fashion favorite is probably Jody.
Oh, yeah.
I love Jody's outfits, like her denim. She wears a lot of, like, denim on denim.
Me
which
too.
I think is really
love
cool.
that look.
Yeah, I feel like her first look was my favorite, the one that's not as crazy tight. The second one, like, I don't know how she got in that. Like, that one's just kind of crazy. That's so funny that you like Woodersons. I love Slater. He's, like, probably my favorite guy, the stoner.
He's funny, also, yeah.
Yeah, he's in, like, Empire Records. He's Lucas. And he's also in, like, CSI Miami. And he's in something else. But I really like him as an actor. He's in Black Mass with Johnny Depp, too. And I really like him. I always think of him as Slater, which is really funny. And Cynthia's my favorite girl, the redhead, because I feel like she's most like me. And I love the geeks, like, in the car. I love, like, Adam Goldberg and Anthony Rapp and Marissa Ribisi. Like, I love the three of them together. I think it's just so funny how, like, neurotic they are. It's just,
oh my God. Well, no, it's just Adam. Like.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
He's really annoying.
The other ones are kind of laid back, yeah. The other ones are kind of laid back.
I find him too annoying, honestly. He's, like, crazy. I'm not sure, like, I love that actor, to be honest. Like, I just find him, like,
Adam
much.
Goldberg? Oh,
yeah,
he's
just
Adam
so
Goldberg.
intense. And obviously his character as well is, like, a bit much.
He always kind of plays, like, he's in the show Entourage. I don't know if you ever heard of that.
I've heard of that.
Yeah, he was in that. He kind of plays, like, this neurotic, like, kind of nut. But he always kind of plays like that. I don't think I've ever seen him, like, chilled out or, like, in a kind of dramatic like really, really dramatic role. I mean, I'm sure he probably has done some, but he's a really good photographer.
Is he? Oh, wow.
Yeah, he works a lot. Yeah, he works a lot with like Polaroid cameras and like vintage film and film mediums. It's pretty cool. I like his photography work a lot.
Cool.
I love the beers in the back of O'Banion's car, in the back of Ben Affleck's car. Like, just beers all in the trunk. Love it. Like, that's so great. Yeah. Oh, yeah, you can, and that's kind of like my whole mood. Those are my, like, things I really liked about it. Obviously about the soundtrack. I already talked about that. And, yeah, it's kind of nuts. I want to hear about your favorite scenes, though.
Yeah. I mean, I think that maybe, it's definitely like an American thing, and maybe that's why I can't relate to it, because I think like the whole like thing about him not wanting to play anymore, because that is so specific to the US, you know. So I'm sure that was like a big deal, like for boys if they were in a team. So obviously I can't really relate to that in that sense, but the one thing I can relate to is Witherspoon's character, because I feel like he embodies that guy that we all like when we were 15, you know, like all the like really like really good looking, kind of a bit of a rebel, and like, you know, we all like bad guys, I suppose, back then. Not all, but I mean you did too, right? Yeah, exactly. And I feel like I mean,
I still do now. It's not very smart, but like,
it's not
smart, but
yeah, and it does like remind me of being like that age and like liking someone who was 19. Well, my boyfriend was 19 and I was 15. I mean, that's not even right, you know. You're like a baby.
That's like really illegal.
And then he's like taking you out to parties and then giving you alcohol and drugs, and you're like, oh, this is so cool, you know, I'm hanging out with like all the guys. So stupid now looking back, but so I suppose I can relate to that in that sense, like being in school and doing the same thing. But my favorite scene is when they are, I have two, when they are
what are your two?
They're at the burger place in the car park, and Witherspoon like tells the red hair girl to come to the party. And he's like, oh, we're going to this party, you should come or whatever. And then he leaves, and her two friends say, oh, he was so creepy. And she's like, I think he was cute.
Oh yeah.
I just like that, because that is so what I would have said too. Like, oh, he's so sexy. He's like pink pants and like white t-shirt with his perfect haircut.
Oh my god.
I like that. And the other one is when they're at the party in the woods, and Slater is high, obviously, as he is, and he's talking about George Washington, and he says something about like, well, he kind of talks about his love for George Washington and his wife, and says that he was in a cult, and like did I hear right? He was an alien, or he thought he was an alien.
And he was like, the cult was into aliens or something.
Yeah, and then they talk about how they grew weed, and that's why that even had an impact in the dollar bill, which was so funny. He's like, yeah, even the dollar is green, you know?
Yeah.
I just think it's really funny, because I mean, I suppose that's the kind of thing you talk about when you're high. You're just kind of random and,
Yeah.
So,
That's so funny. That's really funny that those are your favorite scenes. I feel like two of mine now I'm kind of embarrassed because they're like awful bully scenes, but I like love them. The air raid, that Parker Posey leads for all of those freshman girls is like one of the most iconic fucking scenes of this movie, where she's just yelling at them and calling them sluts. I was like, yes, I love Parker
so
Posey.
Mean.
It's really mean, but I really love that part of the movie. I also love, this is kind of combined. It's kind of like, I love the intro and the outro of the film in general. Like, I love the slow motion, sweet motion with all the cars and like the way it sets the vibe right when you open the film and you see them all like, you know, walking around and then like, you know, lighting the joint and then like, you know, doing the handshakes and you see like the car slow motion. Like, I love that. And then I also love the very end when it's like slow ride and they're all driving in the car, like going to get Aerosmith tickets. I love how that's like bookended, like starts with Aerosmith, ends with Aerosmith.
Oh yeah, no, you're right. Those are
Aerosmith,
amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, like that wasn't really a scene. That's just I really love how it opens and how it closes. But I love when the boys are getting chased in that big white Buick by the guys.
Oh yeah.
By the guys, and then I love when like Carl's mom comes out and pulls that shotgun on like Ben Affleck. Like that's just like so Texas. So I guess it's why I just love that scene so much. Like, and then my ultimate favorite scene is like the football field at the end when they're talking about like high school and like Wooderson's talking about like the older they do get, the more rules they're going to try to get you to follow. And you just got to like keep living. And he's just like, you got to keep living, man. Like that's my favorite scene of the whole movie. And I put that in my yearbook for my 9th grade graduation and they left it out because they thought the movie was inappropriate. Like,
my God.
And my yearbook is just blank because I wrote like, the older you do get, the more rules they're going to try to get you to follow. And I just wrote like, you got to keep living, man. And then like, they just thought it was inappropriate and they like didn't put it on my yearbook. I didn't know until I got it in my hand. And everyone, I told my friends, they were like, that's so cool you put that in your yearbook. And then I got it and it was blank. And I was like,
oh no.
Fuckers. Yeah, I was like, fuck. So
you're
such
a rebel, Lauren.
And I also love when they doused Ben Affleck with that paint. That was pretty dope.
Yeah, he's awful. His character is awful.
So awful. Like
But it's
I couldn't stand him. He was definitely the worst. I think of all of them.
But it's good to see him young. It's good to see young Ben Affleck and Matthew McConaughey. Like.
Yeah, I think I was looking to see if Ben Affleck was in. I think he was in School Ties. Did you ever see School Ties?
I don't think so. No.
I think that might be a film that he was in right before this, but I was looking to see if he was in anything else because I thought that he might have been like unknown, but I think he was in Ben Affleck was in a few things. He was in School Ties. School Ties is a great film. If anyone has not seen it, Jai, you should watch it too. Maybe it would be something.
Okay.
It's like, I'll read the IMDb description. It is set in 1950s. A star quarterback is given the opportunity to attend an elite prep school, but must conceal the fact that he's Jewish. And it's like Brendan Fraser, Matt Damon, Chris O'Donnell, Ben Affleck. It's like 92, but it's a really, really great film. And Brendan Fraser is the main guy. Yeah. I don't know who that one is by. Robert Mandel. I don't know who directed that. I don't know him. But yeah, so Ben Affleck was in that before he was in this. And I think some other people from Dazed and Confused are in it too. Anthony Rapp, the guy who plays Tony, he's also in School Days. So they've just done a few small things before they've done it. But yeah, the amount of like powerhouse actors that are in this film is like pretty crazy.
It's like crazy. Yeah. So many actors, and like some of them are, both of those actors are huge now. And Mila Jovovich as well, to be honest.
Yeah,
she's been on so much. And she's like obviously a model, musician or like singer, actress. I feel like she's great. I love her. I think she's cool.
Yeah, she's really cool. And then I feel like Parker Posey could easily have been Juliette Lewis.
Yeah.
Like, they have a lot of the same personality. Like, they have that kind of, like, wild and crazy kind of personality.
And has she been in a little thing?
Juliette Lewis or Parker Posey?
Posey.
Yeah, she was in, she was in Scream 3. which was quite a while ago. I think she might be in something now. She's in Party Girl, a great 90s underground movie. That would be a great one to review, actually, because it's like super underground, but it's really cool. Let me see what she's in now. She's in something called Lost in Space now, and she's in one episode of High Fidelity, that show that Zoe Kravitz is in on Hulu. That's based on the movie, which I still haven't seen. But yeah, she's been acting. She's done some like kind of more independent things. She's in like Portlandia, like she's in like a lot of random things like that. Yeah, but she's not in like big stuff. But she's still around. I like her. Cool. She's really cool. And Marissa Ribisi, I love, the redhead. She's Giovanni Ribisi's twin sister. Anyone didn't know that.
I don't know her. I don't think I've seen her in anything. Like.
Oh, okay. I've seen her in some stuff in the 90s. Maybe not so much now, but yeah, it's pretty cool. I really like all the people in there, so it's pretty neat. What are your final thoughts?
Final thoughts. I mean, I think it's a feel good movie, to be honest, and it's like a fun, definitely a fun one to watch. I think if you like 70s and stuff, you definitely need to watch it. I don't know, like I mean, I liked it a lot. I think it's not my favorite film. It's not up there with my favorite films, but it's definitely it's up there, like, top 3 soundtrack, I think, for sure.
Yeah, the music's so good.
Yeah. So yeah, that's it for me already. What about you?
Cool. Well, I mean, it's one of my favorites. I mean, I guess I could talk about it forever. I love it. It really introduced me to Richard Linklater. Like, I think after I watched this, he became like one of my favorite directors. He has such a style. A lot of his movies have this kind of vibe. Like, he's really great at capturing the kind of like youth, like energy and spirit, and like the South too. It made me want to be from Texas. It made me want to have a Texas accent. So yeah, I mean, it's cool. I love Dazed and Confused. So it's one of those films that I can always put on and like puts you in a good mood, especially nowadays. I'm kind of glad that it kind of came at the perfect time to review it, because I was like, we really need something light and not anything. You know, I was watching all these kind of like dystopian type shows before this happened, and it was whatever. And now it's kind of like
it's surreal. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little too real. So I was like, this is great. I love watching things about period times, like in the 70s. So this is cool. I'm probably going to put on the soundtrack today and jam out to the Dazed and Confused soundtrack. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I've been doing that. I've been listening to it and like dancing along with my headphones. I'm obviously sharing the living room with Matthew. He's just like looking at me, wondering, what are you dancing to? Yeah, it's really fun.
Oh, cool. Well, I can't wait. We're going to do, we decided we're going to do another one in a few days. So that one is going to be on Romeo and Juliet. So,
yay!
Yeah, get excited. The 1996 Baz Luhrmann version. We're not doing the 1960s version. We're gonna keep it 90s with Leo and Claire Danes. So I haven't watched it in a while. I own it on DVD, so I'll pull out that DVD and watch it. Yeah, I'm really excited for that one, because that one's just, oh God, there's so much to talk about.
Yeah, so am I. There's just so much. Great actors,
it's so great.
Amazing music, amazing soundtrack for that one as well. The set.
Wasn't it filmed in Mexico?
I don't think so. I don't know. Actually.
For some reason it was. I guess we'll look it up and we'll
you know what?
We'll research.
That does sound familiar. It does ring a bell somehow. Look it up.
It was filmed there. Yeah, we'll look it up and we'll talk about it on the next one.
Cool.
But yeah, we hope you guys all have fun, and if you like this one, do the whole thing and like write a review in the iTunes store so I can see what people are thinking.
Oh, favorite songs. We need to talk about favorite songs quickly. What's your favorite song? Favorite 3, like.
Favorite 3?
Yeah.
From the film?
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay. It's definitely Slow Ride from Foghat. It's definitely Summer Breeze by Sealed and Cross. And it's definitely, what would my third one be? It might be Hurricane by Bob Dylan, which is not on the soundtrack, but it's playing in the pool hall.
It is, yeah, of course you have to have Bob Dylan in there.
Yeah, those would be mine. What are yours?
I love like Stranglehold.
Oh yeah.
And Sweet Emotion by Aerosmith. I think those 2 songs really make the film.
Stranglehold, is that Ted Nugent?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And there's one by Deep Purple, but I can't remember what the name of the song is. But
Oh,
those three, yeah, there is one by
there's
Deep
one that's
Purple.
like Highway Star. Is that it?
Don't know.
I'm gonna look it up.
Don't think it's that one. Yeah.
It is Highway Star.
Oh, cool. Okay. Yeah. So it is that one.
Yeah. Yeah, that one's so cool. There's so many. Yeah, the whole soundtrack's great. If you haven't listened to it, I should. I'll post about it on the website, and I'll include like a Spotify link to the playlist because there's.
Oh,
I think somebody put.
Yes.
I think somebody put all of them together. So yeah, I'll do that because you definitely like should listen to it. It's really cool. I think I can share it too. Yeah. Well, yeah. So we'll see you guys on the next one, and we hope you had fun.
Bye.
Bye.